Hey guys, it's Tag from Data 6. Today's the day. I'm going to start to rebuild the transmission today. But as I was trying to get it out, I had some things go wrong. I had a few things break, and it wasn't anything that I intentionally meant to break. It's just anytime you start a project, things do happen. And so I thought I'd go over some of the things that happened to me while I was getting the transmission out, go over what I had to order to replace those parts, and then go into the new parts that I ordered for the rebuild. And kind of give some shout outs to who I got the stuff from. Let me just say that this is the transmission that eBay rebuilt. Alright, now one of the first things that broke when I was getting the transmission out or trying to get it out was you have to take the exhaust off, and I had one of the exhaust flange bolts break off. So the first thing I knew I had to replace were exhaust studs. So I just went ahead and got a pack to do all of them. This came from this came from Wizard Auto Parts. The next thing that broke on me was the neutral safety switch. And this is the switch on the side of the transmission that gets it from park, drive, reverse, low, etc. And that broke off here and here trying to unplug the some of the part of the wiring harness before I realized that you're not supposed to do that, even though the shop manual said to. So this had to be replaced, and that came from USA Industries. Now the next thing that broke after I got the transmission out of the car, but I could not get the little clips coming off the mounts, but the top and bottom oil cooler lines broke, or I had to cut them to get the transmission out. They had corroded inside the fittings, and even after I got these lines cut and the transmission out, it took me a good 15-20 minutes to get just a little piece out that I had cut. But I got both the top and the bottom oil cooler lines to replace, and those came from Nordstrom Auto. Now with the rebuild, these are the new parts that we're going to have to be replaced anyway after tearing the transmission down. So I bought the rebuild kit. With the one that I bought came with the new pistons, clutch discs, steels, came with a Corvette servo, filter, because we got the deep pan, new band, and then all the gaskets and filters, everything I need for this rebuild. And that came from MTS Auto Transparts. Now with the rebuild kit that I bought, it didn't come with bushings. And I didn't realize that till after I had gotten the kit home and opened it. The kit that I did buy did at least come with asbestos steel plates, and the clutch discs were Alto parts. I don't know if there's going to be much difference between that. I'm not a transmission guy, so I'll figure that out once I get it put back together. But the kit didn't come with bushings, so I was able to get a bushing kit, another one thing off eBay from Motor City Transparts. Alright, now the next thing, I don't know if you noticed in the other video, I had some problems getting some of the snap rings out, and I kind of tore some of them up. So I was able to get a new snap ring for the output shaft, which is the yellow one that broke, and that's right there. And I also was able to get the clips that did not come out of the transmission for the cooler lines very well with the rebuild kit. I also got that from the same person. It's Chrissy's off of eBay, and he's out of Tonawanda, New York, near Buffalo. The next snap ring that I messed up was the low reverse clutch spring and the pump snap ring, and I was able to get that off of eBay, and there's that snap ring. And this came from Vincent at MasterTech, and his eBay store is Easy Transpart, and he's out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so common sense got a hold of me and realized that since I've already torn up two snap rings with the snap-on, I used a channel lock snap ring tool that just didn't work. So I got the Wild 9-inch snap ring tool that has the right tip on it to get those snap rings out. And that came from Bauer Tools. Now when I tore it in the transmission and realized what was wrong, or what had broken, this was another part that got damaged when the reaction shell sheared. This is the reaction shaft or also sometimes known as the carrier input hub. But this is what got tore up on the original piece out of the transmission, plus the bearing that came with it had broke. So I was able to get a new bearing and a new reaction hub, or input hub reaction shaft, from Pro Choice Transmission Parts. Wish I knew where that card was. You can stay out here. Oop. stop. That was a technical difficulty. There was supposed to be some information around that reaction shell. So they're going to get their own special little attention here. That reaction shell came from Phoenix Transparts out of Clearwater, Florida. And they were the biggest help of all the parts that I had ordered. And you can catch them at this website at ptptrans.com. Or you can give them a phone call at 1-877-782-5582. They have a technical staff that'd be more than happy to answer any questions. They have a plethora of parts online. And if I had known what kind of company they were when I started this build, I would have purchased everything from them. So next time you have to do some transmission work or you're doing a little do-it-yourself work, look up Phoenix Transparts at ptptrans.com. Thanks, guys. Now there's some other things that I need to have to do this. Some eyedroppers, some squeeze bottles, pans to put transmission fluid in. I'm not going to list where all that stuff came from because it was just little things I picked up either at the auto parts store or at the local store we have here in town. So let's go ahead and begin this building process. Alright, as I said, this was the culprit of the bad parts of the transmission here on the right. And then here is the new parts, replacement parts for the transmission here on the left. One of the thrust bearings, the new, is supposed to be free spinning. This one fell all apart, and there's rollers for it. And you can see the little pieces, so that's pretty much trash. Also, where the sun gear goes into the reaction shell, that's worn out to where it drops through. This is a healthy one. Like so. And also where the bearing had gone out, the bearing failure, it pitted up this reaction shaft pretty bad. And you can see where it's chunked it and burned it all up. So that's why I have a new one. We'll set that to the side. So we need to get the ring gear off the reaction shaft and put this one on here. And that's the old one for that. So I'm going to go ahead and trash this, since we will not be needing it anymore. And we'll get this ring gear off of this shaft and swap them over. We won't need that one anymore, so we can trash that one. And in with the new one. New snap ring. Oh, not new snap ring, but put the snap ring back. That bearing will go inside. Now this one came with new bushings. And so did this ring gear. So we know that will go on there like that. And once it's all said and done, I'll have a new drum assembly or shell assembly. Voila, it is done. A couple days, well, 2 days actually took to do this. But it's finished, it's ready to go back in the car. All I gotta do now is get underneath the car and replace the things that broke getting this out. I don't know if I'm gonna do this again. Well, I don't think I'm gonna do this anytime soon, but I really kind of enjoyed doing it. It wasn't that bad. I think I learned a lot on how these things work. And I'll be glad to just do a regular fun video, leave this kind of stuff for the professionals. I'm certainly not a professional at transmissions. But yeah, I don't even know what to say. But if you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Till next time, 73.